All right. How you guys doing?
Fine, sir.
Yeah.
Fine, sir.
Okay, great. Um, Let me start from Dami. So Dami, maybe just in about a minute or so, how give me some feedback on how the class has been so far leading up to this last exercise that we've done. How has the class been in general for you?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Yeah, for me, it has been an awesome journey. So just like the way you have been saying, it's going to be a slow and a steady one. So which I have been taking my time to not just sketch what you actually gave us. I've been taking my time to do some practice as well in terms of sketching letters and just like that. So it's another level of doing things for me. Even though I do sketch before, but at the same time, it's just a way of taking things like producing creative work in a slow and a steady process. So it's a a good to go for me, and I really want to appreciate the opportunity you have given to me.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Dami. All right, Coyote, how has it been for you?
Yeah, for me, the class has been so thoughtful. First, I love the structure of twice a week, giving room for digestion, hearing. I thought the voice, the lectures. I must have listened to them about 15 or 20 times. I love the calmness of your voice. It's just like say a background when I'm working. I just keep hearing it and keep hearing it. So I love the fact that there is space to digest the information and the knowledge, then to start executing them in day-to-day life. And so I love the structuring of the class so much that I might really have to adopt it if I want, because I became a designer because I want to teach it. And so I really love to really connect with you on that. So I really love the structuring of the class. It's well spaced. There is time for you to do assignments. They don't have an excuse to say you're not doing assignments because there's enough time to go and do the assignments. Unlike other class where it's just every day, you don't have time to even digest one information. Now I've already entered again. So it has been transforming, not just aspect of design, the aspect of life too. There's some things you just dive into, sometimes as you teach. And I can see that principle can also be applied to life and to family. So for me, that has really helped me a lot. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Coyote, and I'm glad to know that you want to teach design. I think it's very good. I think we need more people that want to teach. A lot of people want to do design and just want to work with clients, make money. It's good, that's good, but we need people that would want to teach too because there's a gap there. So I'm glad to hear that you are interested in teaching. So let me go to Sadiq. Sadiq, how's it been for you?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, for me personally, it has been a very creative journey so far. I can say I actually like enjoying the process, starting from the explanation from the day one to the very moment. I even have to like chat one of my brother in the line, which is Sarah Graphics, for clarification of some stuff, and he actually like did his best to make sure like everything in class is actually like more in line to what it should be. Like normally I actually like do the likes of um the flyers, brochures, and this thing. Logo creation is not actually my calling. Let me say yet. I've been actually like into it, but I don't actually like feel it yet. Still in the process, and like you said, slow and steady is actually like the main point. Not that you want to like gather everything at once. I'm actually like taking my time, and at the same time, I think I enjoy the process so far.
Thank you very much. Um, Oh, so Taiwo, what has the experience been for you so far?
Good evening, sir.
Good
Am
evening,
I
Taiwo.
audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yes, sir. I want to seriously. I just need to appreciate. I was even planning that in your team. This class has been awesome because there are some things that I thought I cannot do, not do. But like the aspect of what I like about this class is that you yourself you will determine yourself. Okay, you will be the one to to know yourself. You'll be able to search and get that thing that you needed. That's what I love, and the structure of the class. I so much love it. I so much seriously that because even after the assignment that you gave us, I've downloaded the logo launch. I've started practicing all those 2,000 logos. I've done almost 50. Like I didn't even know that if there's anything like sketchbook before. I've sketched a lot of things in my book. So to get ideas, it's very easy for me. I just pick up my anything now. I just pick up my pencil, just try to draw something. So the class has been really awesome. Seriously, I'm even happy that I was opportune to join to join the set. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you very much for your feedback, Taiwo. Thank you all for your feedback. It's very helpful to get feedback from you guys. And I just want to thank you guys for enrolling for this logo design training. I know for a lot of you, if not for all of you, it's a different way of learning. And I decided to make it that way because I had to spend some time thinking that how can people really learn logo design in a way that it will stick with them. So you see, you are the second set that I've been opportune to teach. I had a set in August last year, and everything the way I taught them, I had to edit it so that you guys can get a better experience. So how it went in the previous set was we will have class like this Mondays and Fridays, and there were no recorded classes. You understand? So those that missed would have missed out on some things, and I realized that some people their lives were too busy. Either they had work or they had school, so they will miss classes. So I realized that it's better to have this thing recorded because some people their attention might not be there when you're having the class. It might be 2 weeks later. And I realized that it's better for you guys to have these classes in audio version where you can listen to it at your own time. So some of you, don't worry. Some of you might not even get the benefits of this thing right now. It might be December this year or January next year that you listen. But I want you to keep those audios. They are your own. They belong to you. Download them. Keep them. Back them up on your on your hard drive. You understand? On your laptop, on your phone. Back them up. They would come into serious use as you go. Intika, thanks for joining us. So it's very intentional that these things are recorded. Please, by all means, those audio recordings, keep them. Keep them. They are yours. You understand? Listen to them as much as possible. Um, Now, I like you that you've all said that it's slow. It's a slow pace um, training. It is, in my own opinion, it's not even slow enough. You understand? Now we're doing 3 months. On a good day, if I wanted to do it, I would have done 1 year with you guys. 1 year. Do you understand? Because one thing I realized that the slower, the deeper. A lot of times when people do courses, design courses, they do crash courses. It's too fast. So designers are too in a haste to want to start clicking the mouse. It's good, it's fun, we all like doing it. But in the end, what really sells you as a designer is your ability to think. And thinking takes time. There's a book called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. It's a good book. And it's not a design book, but it's a book about thinking. And it talks about, he's a psychologist, talks about two types of thinking. He says there's fast thinking and there's slow thinking. He says fast thinking is the one whereby you don't have to think too much. When if I say 1 plus 1, you don't even think, you just say two. You understand? Fast thinking is what you use to recite the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F. I'm not even thinking right now. I'm just saying it. My mind, the time I'm using to think is a microsecond. So I don't even know I'm thinking anymore. It's so much part of me. And fast thinking is easy. It's easy. It helps us make decisions fast and move on fast. You understand? So we like to do fast thinking. We use it a lot in our daily lives. It helps us to move on from one activity to the other. But then there's another type of thinking called slow thinking, and it is more tedious than fast thinking. Slow thinking is what we use to solve problems. You understand? So it's not as intuitive as fast thinking, whereby you are just thinking ABC. No, no, no. It doesn't come to you like that. It's one of those things where you have to think, you have to sit down and analyze and judge. And that's how you solve problems. So you see, people that solve big problems, they solve it with slow thinking. Pilots, they use a lot of slow thinking. Although when they are flying at a particular stage, they use fast thinking. But you see, when a pilot wants to stop a plane from crashing, he cannot think like that anymore. You understand? Now he has to think critically. You understand? Should I land on the water or should I land on the ground? If I land on the water, what can happen? If I land on the ground, what can happen? And that's how design is. It's about deep thinking. And that's what I want you guys to come to a place where when you work with a client, the client can say, wow, I've worked with a lot of designers before, but nobody has thought on this level. Because the truth is, this design industry we are in is very crowded. There are so many people there, so many. But that should never discourage you. You see, a lot of people say, how come I don't get discouraged being a designer? I say, I don't get discouraged because even though there are millions of designers out there, I can easily shine because the way I think is different. You understand? So a lot of designers will think one way, but because I'm used to thinking slow thinking, I'll think another way. So if someone should come and tell me the name of my company is Umbrella Incorporated, the average designer, the first thing is I need to use an umbrella in this logo. I won't think that way because that's too fast. It's too so. Whenever I think like that, whenever I think, oh, umbrella, the first thing I know that every other person is going to think fast. Umbrella, put an umbrella there. And if everybody's going to think fast, it means that the idea is not unique anymore. So that's when I realized I need to think slow. I can't go that umbrella route. I must go deeper. Why is it called Umbrella Incorporated in the first place? What are their values? What does it mean? How can I communicate this word umbrella without using an umbrella? You understand that kind of thing? That is how you become a designer of value. When they are hiring, when other people are begging for them for a client to hire them, the client is searching out for you to hire you because the way you think is different. So that's what we're going. That's what we're trying to go through with this type of slow, intentional learning. With the last task I gave out, um, I'll go right to it where I asked that we sketch out some things, and in all the audios that we've done before now, I told you the importance of sketching and copying. Now, I told you there are three things we are trying to get with this exercise: to teach you how to sketch, to teach you how to copy, and to teach ideation. Now, with sketching, you understand that sketching is like warming up for your brain. It's warming up. It's just like when a footballer is about to go into onto the field, it doesn't just come up from the bench into the field. They tell him, take off your jacket, run 4 laps. He will run 4 laps. Why is he running that 4 laps? Because he's still going to run on the field. But the truth is that he has been sitting down for a while. That blood needs to sketch running. They don't want the blood to start flowing once he's on the field. They want the blood, his heart to be pumping for him to be in the zone. So once he gets there, that's why someone can come from the bench and score a goal immediately because the blood is already pumping. The muscles are already charged. There's no time for him to do that in the game. And that's what sketching is about. Sketching is a warm-up. It warms you up. And now when you sketch, what you are doing is you are throwing up your wrist. You are telling your brain, you are telling your hand, to obey your brain. You are beginning to tell you are beginning to tell your body how it's meant to work. You're telling your hand, look, I'm going to be sending some information to you right now. I want you to obey. Do you understand? That's what sketching is about. You are trying to break the ice between you and creativity. And that's why sketching is so important. I never used to do it before when I started designing. That's the truth. Then I realized that design would be so hard to come up with an idea, so hard. Then I'll just go to the computer and just be typing out stuff and hoping that something will drop. That's not how you work as a designer. You don't hope. It means that if you're hoping, it means that the computer is in charge. But when you sketch, before you go to the computer, you are in charge. You're going to the computer, telling the computer what you want it to do. That's why we are learning how to sketch. Copying is very important too, because copying is the way you learn as a beginner. That's how children learn to walk. That's how they learn to talk. That's how they learn to run. That's how they learn, that's how they pick up stuff, by looking at us who seem to be more experienced in life, and then they imitate us. A lot of times when they start imitating us, it's not as good. You understand? It doesn't look anything like what we are doing, but with constant copying, they get better and better. You understand? And before you know it, a child that couldn't say a particular word starts saying it very well. A child that couldn't walk very well starts walking very well. A child that couldn't run starts to run just by copying. And I think our educational system doesn't take advantage of copying enough. You understand? That is why a lot of people see copying as negative. It's not in that. I don't think copying is a negative thing. So we're taught in school, when someone copies your work, you report to the teacher. No, Taiwo is copying my work, man. Then Taiwo gets punished for copying. But that's not really right, because copying is how we learn. You copy from the person that is better. And when you copy from the person that is better, you get to a place whereby you now become good. You understand that you do not need to copy anymore. So I feel copying is a big tool. I don't encourage people going into design trying to be creative on their own. No, I don't think that's the first stage. I think the first stage is to learn from other people. And that's what brings us to this third stage of ideation. Ideation, the first stage of ideation is to accept that you don't know anything. You don't know anything. And then you're going to go to the people that know, and you're going to copy their work. And you're going to ask yourself, why did they do it this way? Why did they do it this way? That's where ideas begin to build. But a lot of people that just wants to start out design, they want to start getting their own ideas themselves. No, you don't. You can't start. You can't start out with your ideas. You have to start out with the ideas of an expert. There needs to be an idea of an expert that you focus on, that you copy, that you sketch out. And that's the intention of this exercise, is for you to put your brain to a large extent on park. The time to use your brain will come, trust me. But for now, we want our brain to be submissive to how good work is done. You need to submit the brain, surrender the brain. I know too many designers who are not good because their brain is not surrendered. It's not like they can't do it. Their brain is not just surrendered. They already feel like they know what they ought to do, so they are not learning anymore. The biggest asset you have as a designer is the mind that I don't know anything. Those are the people that do really creative stuff. I don't know anything. Going into this project, yes, I have 50 years experience. I don't know anything. This is a new experience for me. And that's how your work can continue to be fun. And that's how clients can enjoy working with you. So let me try. Can you all see my screen? Can you see my screen? Dami, can you see my screen?
No, no, sir. No, sir.
All right, so I'll start sharing. Thank you. All right, are you seeing it now?
Sir.
Everyone see my screen now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Great. Okay, so let's go right to the assignment. All right. So I sent you these letter marks, and they were all picked out one by one. They were not um they were all arranged like this intentionally, and you realize that as a logo designer, when you start logo design, you realize one thing, that a lot of the logos you will do in your career, a lot of them will be built around letter marks and alphabets. So you meet a lot of people come to you and say, Akitunde, I have this company, it's called Pacific Designs. There is nothing really much that you can use to communicate Pacific. Sometimes you're at that place where you can't really communicate the essence of a company. Some people come to you and just say, we really don't know. Our company is just called what's it called? Rain and Baker. Rain and Baker. All you have to go with is R and B. With Pacific, all you have to go with is P. Your ability to be able to stylize an alphabet is very key. Very, very key. If I go through my portfolio, most of my works are not symbol marks. Most of them are letter marks. Letter marks, a lot of times, is the way you are going to be solving most of the design problems you have in terms of logo design. There are more letter marks than symbol marks or any other type of marks in the world when it comes to logo design. Most of them are letters. So if you can perfect this art of letter marking, it will really help you in your career. So please take this part of the assignment very seriously. As much as possible, sketch letter marks. And as I said, if you're just starting out, don't start thinking of ideas from your own head. It will take you too much time. It will be frustrating, and you might end up feeling like if you are not a good designer. Start with already established, well done letter marks. Then you realize that once you have copied enough, you just get to a place whereby you just sit down and you just be sketching out a Q letter mark, and to be incredible because you've trained your brain by sketching to see and to know the pathway to creating good letter marks. So you can see this was the first one I gave to you. You can see this one is like a V or a U, then an R, R, M. You can see some of them are mono letter marks, some of them are combinations. But they are all simple and interesting. So you see, when people tell designers that good design is simple, you see, that's a very simple, good advice that your design should always be simple. But one thing we take for granted is some people don't know what is simple and not what is not simple. So a lot of times, I remember then when I tell people, train people in design, I just say, make your design simple. Then the person will go and still do something complicated. And I say, make it simple. Then I realize simple is a relative term. Some people don't know what simple is. Some people, their definition of simple is still very complicated. And that's why copying is very important. Because then you now need a professional to show you what simple is. So all these logo marks we have seen here, they're all simple. This is simple. This is simple W. This is simple A. This is simple R. You understand? By doing this over and over again, you begin to teach your brain what a simple mark is. Look at this V. Simple. You understand? So simple, a lot of times, people confuse it for boring. But there's no boring mark here. Simple doesn't have to be boring. And simple doesn't have to be complicated. The thing about simple, when you look at it, you as a person, you don't have any more to add to it and nothing to take away from it. That is what it means for something to be simple. It means that there's nothing to add and nothing to take away. That's the definition of simplicity. It's not when it is, it's so boring. No, or when it's so complicated. No. It's when you look at it and it looks complete. It looks complete. And that is a very hard thing to master as a designer. You must to know when to stop and when to continue. It's the hardest thing to master as a designer. When you're designing a logo, to know, have I done enough and have I done too much? But you only learn that by copying. And how when you're looking at this thing, just keep doing it. It teaches you when you've done enough and when you've done too much. It teaches you that. Let me use one as an example here. This HA. Draw. Oh, so this one is 1 minute, sorry. So you see, some people, just use as an example, might want to go to this HA. See, some might go overcomplicated and add more to it. Sorry, I don't know why this thing is acting up like this. Uh-oh. So you can see, you can do this, but then you could have done too much. You understand? And this is where designers don't know when to stop and when to continue, because you've already gotten to the answer. But then because you are not sure of what simplicity is, and then it has lost its wow factor because of that. So you see, the ability to know when to stop, knowing that I have done this, I have done this, and I've done this, and that is okay. That is when you become professional as a designer, knowing when to stop and knowing when to continue. Because some other people, you know what, they might have gone and done something like this. So you see, they have the H there and they have that. You can see that it looks good, but it's not just as good. That person should have continued. Some other people, they might have done this. Whereby they just have that thing extending like that. It's good, but it can be better. And that's where this little note here is very important. Just adding this little note here makes all the difference in the world. Let's go to this D. Some people might have ended here. It looks good, but could it be better? Yes. So you can see that little stroke makes all the difference in the world. Some other people, knowing when to stop, might go. Oh, come on. Might go ahead and add. Sorry, they really changed this. This is their tools now. This is not how it was before. But then might just add a stroke there somewhere, which makes it too much. So knowing when to stop is not a very easy thing. Knowing when to continue is not a very easy thing. But when you teach your brain by copying other people's work, you will begin to learn on your own what simplicity is. So that's why you're doing these jobs. That's why you're copying this. Now, from what I've seen, there was a submission here from Aramide. Now, Aramide has done a good job, and his work is one of the model ones here. He has done it very well. And see, Aramide has experience in sketching. You see, Aramide has a background in sketching, and you can tell. I can tell from his penmanship that he has a background in sketching. You understand? So if you look at the educational background, you see something there that has to do with the ability to sketch. So one thing I don't want you to look at, say, oh man, this guy is way better than me, and we're in the same class. Maybe this thing is not for me. A lot of times we look at things out of context, not knowing the other person's journey. I'm not sure if Aramde is here with us. Let me check. Okay, he's not on the call with us. But if we're on the call, I would have asked him what his background is, and you will realize that his background is either architecture or something like that. You can even see from this pen here, this rotary pen. That's an architect's pen a lot of times. Architects use this. But you would see. So don't compare yourself to someone and give up. No, that person might have had experience in their freehand ability. But what, and that's what I want this class to be. You guys should be as interactive as possible. If you see somebody in class, their work is better than yours, approach them. How did you do yours? It doesn't have to come from me. You understand? I want it to be as interactive as possible because that's real world. When you see somebody and their work is good, just ask them, how did you do this thing? How? Can you just give me some pointers? If Aramde were here, and when he listens or watches this, I will ask him to give some pointers. One pointer I can give from him is that he has used a graded sketch pad. That has really helped him to stay within line, which is what I realized is the difference between people whose sketches was not as good as his and people who have done good sketches. You need these grids. So if you can just get a graph book, they sell those things, secondary school students use it. Get one. You can open it, cut it, make it smaller into a small notepad. But these lines help you a lot. They help you to stay within bounds. You can see this right here. Every single thing is within bounds. So don't assume that you can gauge with your eyes. So hard. I've been doing design for 18 years. I can't even gauge with my eyes. I can't. So when I'm drawing on a plain paper, it wouldn't be aligned. So you need stuff like this to help you. You need this kind of graded notes. They sell them. Some of them are graph books. Just go to any bookstore, any graph book. You would find them. Some of them, you can find them online and download them. 1 minute, please. All right, so as I was saying, you need those kind of sketch pads that have guides for you. It will really, really help you. It will help you in staying within bounds, drawing straight lines and things like that. So that's one thing he has going for him. Now, one thing I want you to, this Dami's work here. Now you can see Dami has used a plain paper, which is what we always use. But remember, we are trying to be intentional about our sketching and not just sketching, we are trying to copy. if you're going to copy, you cannot use a plain paper. It's going to be very hard for you to get the proportions right. Now, remember what I said about copying. I said when you copy, you're not copying the form, you're copying the details. So you want to try as much as possible to look at the details. So one thing you want to try to do is say, with these details, am I getting exactly what the details are telling me? And that's where I like the fact that you've repeated some of these things more than once to show that you have tried your best to practice it. You see, so you've done this many times. But one thing I want you to know is that have one that you do for your sketch and one that you do for presentation for class. You understand? Because yes, you might need to do it many times, especially if you are not used to sketching, to get it right. So you can see you've tried to do a lot of them many times, at least some of them many times. But then this is your own sketch. I feel as much as possible, have one that you now transfer into your official sketchbook. You understand? Where you can say, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to present to the class and stuff like that. But one thing you also want to do is, if you are not used to sketching, I would advise you don't use a pen. Don't use a pen. Don't use a pen. Especially when you want to copy, you understand? Don't use a pen. Try to use a pencil. A pencil will really help you. You understand? Because, you see, let me go back to Aram Dezo. 1 minute. One thing a pencil would allow you to do is to clean off marks. If you look at Aram Dezo, if you look closely, you realize that it's not as clean as it looks when you look at it from afar. You can see that there are some messy things under there, whereby, you see, if you can't do this with a pen will not allow you to be able to go over lines. You understand? So you can see here, look at this, look at the edges of this. You can see that the edges are not clean. But when you look at it like this, it looks clean. That's because a pencil allows you to be able to do thin, faint lines before you commit to thick lines. So as much as possible, use a pencil. Use a pencil. A pen will not allow you to do that. A pen will reveal your errors from the onset. It will reveal your errors from the onset. It's hard to control pressure with a pen. Although some people that are very good with using pen, they can do it too, but it's very hard. It's very, very hard. Unlike with a pencil, that will even give you the opportunity to rub off. Although I don't really recommend erasing too much. What I recommend is start with very faint lines that nobody can see. Very faint. Then when you're sure that, okay, I've gotten the overall shape, then you can now commit. You can now commit to drawing it out with thick lines. So going that the pen route might be setting yourself up from the beginning. Now, another thing I want to say is, you can see here, you can see what Taiwo has done. Now, what I want to point out with Taiwo's stuff is, Taiwo has used a plain paper. I think I said, try to get something with grid on it. That will help you. Secondly, there are two ways of drawing. Now, you can construct or you can line draw. Now, with this, Taiwo has constructed. It's very hard to draw well with constructing. Now, what I mean by constructing is, I'll give you an example. If this thing would allow me to draw. You see, now just look at this. If I wanted to construct, what I would do is do what Taiwo is doing here, whereby I'm constructing, then try to construct an R. See, it's so hard to get things to look good if you are constructing. Constructing is you are creating a void within your alphabet. So I'll give you an example of constructing. If I wanted to construct a T, see, this is constructing a T. See, what I'm doing is drawing a container. It's very hard to sketch that way. The best way to sketch is by line drawing. So when when you're doing line drawing, what you're doing is this. It will end up looking better if you line draw than to construct. It's hard for me to construct this. So when you're trying to sketch a logo, I always advise people to line draw, not construct. Line draw as much as possible. Sorry, I don't know what's up with this. So you can line draw, but if I was trying to construct this, then first of all, I will need to draw this like this, like what Taiwo has done here. Then I'll come up and do another one like that. You know, it's very, very hard. It's very hard to get anything to look good that way. Unlike if you see, let me take this one for example. Instead of that construction that you've done here, so you constructed here, all you just need to do was just line draw. If you need it to be thicker, just run over it again. That's the best way to sketch. So instead of constructing, line draw. So if I were to go back to Aramide's work now, you can see a lot of it is line drawn. A lot of it is line drawn. So when he wants to make it thick, he just shades over it. That way you have more control. It's very, very hard to have control when you're constructing containers like this. What will happen is it will be hard to maintain, it gets hard to maintain thickness. So this thickness will not be the same thickness here, will not be the same thickness here, will not be the same thickness here. So it's hard to control that. There might be some sketches that you will do that you need to construct, but for a lot of, and that's why I intentionally chose those what I've given to you, because a lot of them are line based. Remember, with lines, what you want to learn is more pressure makes it thicker, less pressure makes it lighter. That's what you learn with line drawing. So, and this is what would really help you when you start designing logos. Line drawings will help you to appreciate how to use your thickness to your advantage. So you can see here that if I wanted to draw any of these right now, I'll go back to this. Let me say, I go back to that, and I go back to that. You see, if I wanted it to be thicker, all I need to do is go over it again. And then you can have, you understand? So use your lines to emphasize thickness. Don't construct. It makes it so hard to sketch. You will hate sketching if you are constructing. But if you are using line drawings, you'll be able to sketch better. Let me see. Let me see if there's any other one that stands out. Like, this is not bad for Moses. One thing you realize that Moses has done, he has done a good job in observing line thickness. You can see the difference between this and this. He has used the same pen, he has just gone over the line more than once. In one, he went over the line once. In the other, he went over it more than once. You see that the people that did very well, they didn't construct. They didn't construct. You understand? So try to stay away from constructing and just use your lines. The only thing I see here about David is he wasn't intentional enough about copying. So I feel if Moses had gone over this thing, if Moses had done this thing 5 more times, it would be incredible. But I believe he stopped too early. Number one, Moses didn't have guides. You understand? He would have done much better if he had a graph or something to guide him. And I think it would have been much better if he had gone like 5 more times on this thing. You can see his wrist is not yet very used to curves. Now I can see the curve around this D now. Here is a bit flat. And it shouldn't be flat. Because remember, we are not trying to copy the form. We don't want to copy the idea. We are trying to copy it in such a way whereby when someone looks at it, they're like, did they print this thing? Is it a photocopy? That's what you want. You want to get to that place where people can ask. Because you know what? If you don't sketch well, when it comes to digitization, it is what you sketch that you put on the computer. So a lot of times you will transfer errors to your computer if you don't iron them out well in your sketch. Now, look at this V, for instance. This is where we need to be very intentional about details. This is not bad, but in the end, you can see that the work is kind of shabby because this thing should be aligned. But you can see that these ones are not touching that line up there, which is not how it is in the original. So those are the kind of things you have to copy. See their own V. If you were to draw a line above it, it cuts everything, the straight line. Those are the kind of things you need to watch out for once you are sketching. Remember, that's what sets you apart as a designer. Anybody can sketch the idea. Anybody. So when they see your sketch as a designer, it should be different from their own sketch because you pay attention to detail. Let me see if there's any other one I want to use as an example. I will not be going through everybody's work because it might just be the same thing I'll be saying for everyone, and I don't want to repeat so much. But you can see here, same thing we're talking about constructing. Don't construct, you'll get in trouble. Don't construct. This is a construction. You'll get in trouble. Don't construct. Don't construct. You understand? Try not to construct, and you'll see how much better your work would be. Use lines. Use lines. And when you want the line to be thicker, go over it again. Go over it again. Go over it again. Sometimes you might need to even blunt out the pencil. Blunt out the pencil, then go over it. You understand? Because it's hard when you're using a sharp pencil. You understand? So and those are techniques you need to learn. So when you want something that would show a fine line, you use a sharp pencil. But when you want to show something that has a thick line, Make sure the pencil is blunt, then go over it. And you see how much nicer your sketch would be. So here we see, you can see what I'm saying. You can see how guides can help you. You see, the only thing that if these guides were well used, see, the intention of having a guide is to help you so that this kind of lines here, you allow them touch. That's why you have guides there. I wish I could change the size of this. But sometimes it's just messed up. That's all right. So you have a guide, but you only have horizontal guides, and that might not really help you. To help you some, you can see here, it has helped you here to be able to stay within line. But if you had something that has more of vertical lines too, like a graph book, that would really help you. So you see, the kind of sketching we want to do is not like this. See this V, this is not what was in the assignment. What was in the assignment was clearly 3 lines. You understand? So it can't be an idea of it. It has to be what it is. That's what the copying part of it. Remember, copying, sketching, ideation. You understand? So you guys need to think of that copying. Don't just assume. Don't assume. Don't assume. If you went to your house now and you saw somebody that is your father's height, but it's not your father's voice, is your father's eyes, but not your father's complexion, will you call the person your father? You understand? You wouldn't. You'll be like, no, no, no. It's your father's voice, but it's not your father's height. You understand? He has hair, but the hair is not like your father's hair. You understand? You wouldn't accept it. You wouldn't accept the person as the person you've always known. That's the same way when you are copying. It has to be the same thing. That level of detailing. Because if you don't go in that level of detailing, your brain is not learning. The learning is in you seeing those details and trying your best to achieve those details. That's the way your brain is now saying, okay, so there's this amount of space between this stuff. That's when your brain is learning. It's those difficult details that you begin to learn. But a lot of times we skip the difficult details, then the brain doesn't learn anymore. It's in that difficult, it's those small, small spaces that your brain is now unconsciously learning, okay, this is how much space I should leave when I cut an alphabet. It's by why I'm telling you to copy, because I want you to observe all those small things. When you observe all those small things, that you begin to learn all those small things. And when you learn all those small things, that's when you begin to do all those small things for your clients. And that's when you begin to blow their mind. That's when you can do an A logo, and the other person will do an A logo, but they will choose your own. They don't know why. Because your own has those small details that people forget. Look, it's not hard to be successful as a designer in Nigeria. I'm telling you. Because a lot of people do it shabbily. If you can just pay attention to detail, you will see how people will begin to rush your work. There's no secret to it. I'm telling you, there's no big secret to it. That's the secret. All those things that people are rushing over, you are painstaking time. That small thing. The people just say, oh man, I'd rather work with Dami. I'm not working with anybody. You understand? It's just small things. Those small things. So I feel there was one that was submitted. I think the last submission was pretty good. This is very neat. It's a very neat submission, but you need guides. Remember, a guided note, that's good. But you've done very well even without guides. You've done very well. This is a very neat job. Very, very neat. in terms of ordering of the work. The presentation is so good. It's so good. You can see the difference between using a pen and using a pencil. Don't use a pen. A pen will always disappoint you. It will disappoint you if you're sketching. If for presentation, it will disappoint you. But I'm very impressed with this work, with the detailing. Look at this P. You can see the detailing. I see that this person has learnt about all those serif marks just from doing it. But the only thing I see here, with this kind of V now, there should be alignment on the top. So when I draw a line, just like you've done with this one, be so intentional. So you see, it's one of those projects that when you're tired, just leave it, go and sleep, go and do something else. Don't try to finish it at once. Design is not rush. People that do the best design, they don't rush it. When you're tired, go and sleep, go and watch TV, go and do something else. Always use your best energy when you're designing. Always use your best energy. You can see here now in second, construction will disappoint you more than, see, with this construction now, you can see here what's left to do is to shade in. Very, 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 very hard way to do anything constructing. Remember, what you want to do, use your lines. Use your lines as much as possible. That's the only way you can even train your wrist in the first place. Use your lines. Use lines as much as possible. To take you less time to do this than to construct. Construction is so hard. And it's very restricting. You don't even feel like you are drawing. You understand? Like you're doing now, like you're doing technical drawing rather than sketching. You understand? It's so hard. It's so hard. Remember, by the time you go to your computer will begin to construct for you. But now we begin to look at ideation, you understand, and sketching and copying. So let me, yeah, you can see what I mean with this. It's so hard to keep consistency of lines. So you see, it will be so hard. Those inconsistencies in the line here, there'll be a lot of inconsistency inside this P. There's a lot of, so stay away from constructing and start using your lines. Start using your lines. All right. There was one I saw. All right, let's say here is one. It's very, 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 very. I don't know what this person used. As much as possible, try not to use a ruler and stuff like that for your work. You understand? Try not to use a ruler and stuff for your work like that. Now this is very neat. Although it's he has used something that's even, it's like a proper note sketch pad where he has all these notes, small notes in it, and that helps you to draw too. But you can see here that there's some construction here. You understand? He has done, but this person has very must have some background in drawing or something like that, because the person's use of the ability to draw curves is incredible, even if they were constructed. It's incredible stuff. Whose work is this? Akitunde. Yeah. Akitunde has incredible art talent. Now, not everybody can draw like Akitunde, that's the truth. But if I were to ask, I'm sure Akitunde has a background in drawing. Is Akitunde on this call? Akitunde, are you on this call?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Akitunde. All right. How long
Yes,
have you been drawing?
I'm here. Um, it's not something I know professionally. It's just like an hobby. So
It's a hobby you have.
it's just an hobby I've had.
For how
Yes.
long?
From being like growing up, like from being a child, I've always loved, drawing things.
Great. Okay. So you can see what I mean now, that Akitunde has a natural talent. That's the truth. And when you look at it, there's no disputing it. His work is incredible. Now, some of you will look at it and want to achieve on Akitunde's level. No. The intention, because some people will never be able to draw like this. I cannot draw like this. You understand? But the truth is to learn some techniques from him. You understand? Number one thing you can learn is the kind of paper he's using to draw. He has guides. Even with natural talent, he has something that is guiding him. So if you now don't have natural talent, you're now using plain paper. Even with natural talent, is this a pen or a pencil, actually?
This is the pencil.
Pencil. So you see where I'm coming from here, that this is someone that knows how to draw, but is still falling back on using a pencil. You understand? So if you don't know, you now use a pen, it means that you are setting yourself up. You are not using a guide and you are not using a pencil. So it's already a very uphill task for you. Now, actually, take us through how you were able to draw these. Did you use rulers or anything like that?
I first no, I didn't use rulers. I first made light strokes just to guide myself. And when I saw that I got those right, then I started to thicken the lines.
Great. You see, so you see what I mean about using a pencil now. It allows you to make those light strokes that you can now thicken. So you have done a very good job. It's really, really cool. Now, one thing I want you guys to also take a note of, and that's why you are in a class together, is you will see different people. Number one, some people are going to be great with ideas. Take note of them. Some people are going to be great in drawing. Take note of them. Some people are going to be great in coming up with names. Take note of them. Some people are going to be good in mocking up. Take note of them. Look, not everybody in class, because the beauty of design is collaboration. The truth is, when you finish this class and you start working with clients, never work with the mentality that it's me that will do everything. I will sketch, I will digitize, I will mock up, I will come up with the name, I will do. No. This is where you know, oh, there was one guy in my class, his name is Akitunde. That guy was good with sketching. Let him sketch this idea for me. Do you understand? So you guys start collaborating and start knowing each other. Do you understand? As much as possible, because this class will reveal a lot of things. It will reveal a lot of things. Some people will be better in presentation. Do you understand? You want to note them, so that when you start working, and that's what will help you to charge more for your work. A lot of times, people cannot charge because they can't deliver on every single thing. If you want to do real professional work that attracts good money, you must be willing to collaborate. So put it in your mind, this guy knows how to draw. I'll keep it in my mind. And you start talking with the client, okay, we're going to get this guy to draw out this logo for us. Do you understand? And that's because the client doesn't really care how many people does the work. He just wants to do a good job. And sometimes A good job cannot be done by one man. Let's learn that very, very early on. And that's the beauty of you guys being. So I want you guys to be as interactive as possible in the class, on the platform. Feel free to reach out to each other. Feel free to invite each other for projects. Some of them might not even be paid. You understand? Just build relationships. But it's a good job. Akitunde, very, very, very good copy. You understand? Very good copy. Very intentionally. And like when I look at it now, the first time I look at it, I had to look at it and say, wait, did this guy print this thing out or did he draw it? You understand? But it takes practice. You understand? So I want us to practice as much as possible. Practice to your best. Your best might not be Akitunde's best. You understand? But let your best be your own best. You understand? Let it be obvious that this person tried their best to achieve this. But I think on a whole, I will commend everyone for taking part in this exercise. As I said, it's the first exercise we've done. We're going to have another one on Monday. But you've all done well. But take into account everything I have said so far. Go back and watch this video. It's being recorded. I'll put it on the group for those who are not around. And for you guys that are around, go back and watch it and stuff. And by Monday, I'll give you another exercise to do that will also have to do with sketching. But this time, we'll try to go a step further. But remember, most importantly, it's not about the exercises for submission. What I'm trying to build in you is a habit. You understand? It's a habit. So please don't do it and say, oh, we are done with logo design training. No. The more people form these things as habits, those are the ones that will end up being successful. So I might have looked at some people's work and say, oh, that means sketching is not on point right now. But the truth is, if he continues, takes all correction, 1 year's time, you'll be surprised he's doing better sketch than Akitunde. That's how life is. Doing better work than Akitunde. It is the person that continues to do it that gets better. That's the truth. When I was in school, nobody in my class would have thought that I would have been a logo guy. You understand? Because the first few logos I did were disastrous. They're not good. They're not very good. But I continued. And some people that were better than me then cannot hold a candle to my work now. Only because I continued and they stopped. They did their work for teachers. I did my work for myself to get better. They did their work to get an A. I did my work to improve my client's company. You understand? So it's not about this class. It's not about this exercise. It's about what it helps you to continue to do for the greater portion of your life. So keep practicing, keep sketching. If you sketch something that is not even an exercise that I've given you in class, you want to share it on the group, by all means, share it. You understand? If you share it, feel as free as possible within the confines of what we are discussing. So what I would want is for us to start discussing things that we're not discussing. So we don't distract other people who want to follow the course. You understand? But if there's stuff you want to sketch, you want to show me privately, you can show me. Although I get very busy, but you can show me. I'll be glad to look at it. But by all means, share resources with each other. If you have a video that can show you how to be better at sketching, share it on the platform. It's an open platform. It is not typical school where it's like, okay, only Tola talks. And no. I'm learning from each and everybody. Like, just looking through your work now, I've learned from every single person. Like, I'm looking at this kind of sketch pad that Kitsune was using. I'm like, okay, I need to get one of those things that looks like that. Do you understand? And you learn every time, but by interaction. So feel free to reach out to each other for personal projects, for commission projects itself. You understand? Start working with each other, start collaborating. But I think that's about it for this class. I don't want it to go on for too long because I don't want the video to be too heavy. But please, if you have any more questions, add them send them to the group. I'll be glad um, to answer your question. If you feel like you want to redo some of this, send it to the group. I'll be glad to look at it too. But you've all done a good job. You know, the first attempt, very impressive. I like the fact that you guys took the time to do it. And if you haven't submitted yours, please still feel free to submit. All right, guys. Any questions?
Yeah, no question from my end, sir.
Good evening, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for this session. Sir. I would like to ask this, sir. How do we know that the logo is functional? Like, this logo is good. How do we criticize our own logo, even without anyone looking at it, without sending it to anyone?
That's a good question. Who is asking this question? Sorry, I can't see.
Hussein Abdullah, sir. Abdullah Hussein.
Okay, Abdullah. Okay, all right. Okay, same. All right. That is why you must always start by copying other people's work. Never start with your own work. Because your own work, there's no basis for whether it is good or not. You see, once you start, like this kind of assignment I'm giving you right now, this is an exercise. Once you start doing it, trust me, your brain is already telling you what good work is. Your brain is already saying, okay, so this is what good work looks like. Okay, this is what good work looks like. This is what good work looks like. This is what good work looks like. After a while, when you start doing your own work, your brain will go back to the foundation of good work that it knows. And it will say, Hussein, does this thing look like what you did 2 months ago in the class that Mr. Tola gave you? That your brain will just start telling you, that when you start saying, this is not good enough. Nobody needs to be there. Your brain just goes from past experiences. And that's why your past foundational experience must be good, solid ones. That's the biggest problem a lot of designers have. No good past foundational experiences. So they don't even know when they are doing bad work and they don't know when they are doing good work. That's why the first thing is to copy. And that's what I will try to do in this class. I would only expose you to what is good. What is good? What is good? And that's why I took time to choose all these letter marks. I went through lots of letter marks. I had to cut them down and say, this is not good enough. This is not good enough. From the best people on Pinterest and Dribble and stuff like that, people that are doing excellent work. So when you start seeing it, your mind will only do what it sees. And it judges life based on what it has seen in the past. You understand? So the people that are uncomfortable with Nigeria, a lot of them are people that have left Nigeria before. If you never left Nigeria, be like, what's so bad about this country? And they take light, man. That's life now. But the person that lived in the UK knows that they don't take light. You'll be uncomfortable. You understand? And you will aspire for more. That's why the only way you can judge and that's something we all need, the ability to judge. That's why I'm trying to refrain from looking at everybody's work one by one. I won't do that. In fact, today I look at too many self. Most of the time I just look at 3, 4 and leave the rest for you guys to judge. The ability to judge if you listen to my first class, that's one of the first things I say. The ability to judge your work yourself is a great asset because you never have people there every time to tell you, is it good, is it bad? You understand? So that insecurity of I don't know how to judge my work is a great weakness. You must be able to look at your work and say, my work is good. My work is not good enough. That in itself is a strength. And when you can look at your work and say, my work is good, because some clients will try to make you feel like your good work is not good. It is your conviction about your good work that make you stand by your work and say, sir, ma, I don't think I'm willing to change this thing because I believe in it that much. But if you are not sure, they will make you water it down to their own perception of what good work would be. And a designer that doesn't know what is good work or bad work will give in. Then your portfolio will become rubbish. Understand? So how do you get to know whether your work is good? How do you get to assess your work? Is number one, having a foundation of good work. When you have a foundation of good work, your brain would always reference foundation. So that you realize that even like in schooling, Some people speak good English, some people don't. But they're in the same university. They're wondering, how does this one, the same university, grow up in the same village? Because the first one went to a good primary school where they gave him good primary education. So the foundation was good. The second one didn't go to a good primary school where he had good primary education. So the foundation was bad. So even though they both leave the primary school and they both go to the same secondary school, same university, the difference will be clear. Because that first one will always go back to his foundation of what did my nursery one teacher tell me about A, D, was, present tense, past tense, and that person can never ever miss English again because the foundation is right. But that person that has bad foundation, even if he goes to Harvard, he will struggle with English because the brain always goes back to the foundation. And that's why I want your foundation to be right. And I want to send you, you have to look at good work every single time. Please, it is the biggest advice I can give you. Every single time, look at good work. Who is your inspiration? Go back to those first classes I recorded for you. Your inspiration. Let them be people. That's what the internet is for. Go and check for people. Google it. Best logo designers in the world. Best logo design. Don't go for good logo. Type best. Best. The one that when you see it, you know that, man, you can't do the work. It doesn't matter. Let them just continue to raise the standard for you. Google won't charge you for giving you the result for best logo design, but always look for the best person and sit down there and look at their work. You understand? Then your brain will always reference that, and that becomes your foundation for life. And no one can take that away from you. Once you build a foundation, no one can take it away from you. So I hope that's clear to you, Hussein.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, guys.
Okay, sir.
Is there any more questions?
Yeah, I have a question, sir.
Okay. All right, I can take one more question. All right, go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I actually went to the brandingstyleguides.com. So I do download, I do search for different industries and I keep downloading them because they are in PDF format. But I noticed something, all the brand guidelines I've been downloading, that they don't come with maybe the brand vision, the brand mission along the line with the brand guidelines. So what they just do only is just to give a little basic introduction about the brand and just go straight to it. But from what I've been seeing on Behance and every other platform, they will go ahead and talk about the mission, the statement, the mission statement, the vision, and the challenges or the problem that they're trying to solve. So that part now looks somehow so strange to me because it's more like I'm seeing something and it's different
Yes,
from what I've seen before.
exactly. So I like that observation that you've had, and that's where I try to warn designers that all those Behance, Dribble, Instagram, where people put up their work, be careful. A lot of them do not show real life approach to dealing with clients. Go with that brand style guide stuff. Those are real life clients. Those are professional. Go with that. Anybody can sit down in their room and just say, "Oh, this is how a brand guide should be." They now put vision, mission, and all those stories. Go with what you see in that real life experience. It doesn't get any higher than that brand style guide. I'm telling you, it doesn't get any higher. In fact, when I was doing brand style guide, it was one brand style guide that I got from from that site that I used to model most of my brand style guide. It is, I think it was one for Amnesty International. That one was incredible. The way they talk, the way they use their language. Don't even try to don't try to just copy. You understand? Don't try it because some of them they are written by professional, dedicated copywriters. You understand? So don't even think don't think damn, I need to be writing on this level. No, just look at it. Use their words right that way. Look at the size of their paragraphs. How many lines? 4 lines. Doesn't need to be bigger than that. That's how you know how to present your work. When you go to problem is I realize that most of these other sites, Behance, Dribble, they overdo because they are trying to impress designers. That's the truth. So they're trying to impress designers. It's a place for designers to impress designers. That's not how the real world works. In the real world, designers don't work for designers. Designers work for clients. And clients are not designers. And clients don't have time to be reading too many things or to be seeing too many. You understand? They want, you have to go straight to the point. So my advice to you is stick with those brands, those ones that are downloading. Those are real life projects. They belong to real companies. It's a privilege for you to be able to download them and see them, keep them. You understand? See how they are, see how they are arranged, how they arrange their work, how they put images, how they number their pages. Copy those things. Those are the things you want to copy. Don't go and copy other designer stuff. You understand? This one that you are seeing, a company has approved it, a company has paid for it, a company is using it. All those other things you might have seen on Instagram and on Behance. Nobody, it might be someone's personal project, nobody might be using it, the client might have rejected it, but it looks nice. And that's what designers want. But clients want more than that. They want functionality. So I would say keep on with those other ones on the brand style guides stuff. Download them. Don't don't bamboozle yourself too much with them, or choose the ones you like, the best ones that you like. Keep them. Try to don't stick in an industry that is too streamlined. Go to different industry. Go to someone automobile, someone that is in fashion, someone that is in this. So you see different styles. You understand? That will expose you. And don't worry. Remember, the aim is to put your brain in a place where you are seeing professional, expert stuff. Don't worry if it seems like you will not get there. Don't worry about that. You understand? Some of them you download and you just feel like, if I mean, will I ever work on this level? Don't. That is good. Actually, that used to happen to me. I look at stuff and then I'll just go and sleep. It's good. It's going somewhere. You're challenging your brain. Your brain. Once you go and sleep, your brain is thinking, how do we get there? Very soon you just realize that you're there. You just realize that you're there working with those kind of clients, delivering that kind of work. You understand? But always keep your mind and your head in a space of excellent work. Not just good work, excellent work. And you realize that very soon you start doing that excellent work. Hope that helps you, Danny.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, guys. So I'll be ending. I'll stop sharing my screen right now.